Hey, what is going on, everybody? Welcome to Super Lunch Bros Podcast. I am Brendan.
And I'm Nate.
I said that wrong. It's episode 92. I forgot to
Did you
put
say
in there.
did you say 93?
No, I didn't say any number.
Oh, way to go.
I know. I do that I've been saying it so much, I figured I would just automatically know it. I don't. Anyway, all right. Today we are going to talk about, I said we, because there's more than one person here. Look.
Ooh.
Oh, wait. He's that way on the camera. So we're going to talk about Cobra Kai Season 4. It just came out 3 days ago, I think.
Long enough for me to finish in one day.
Yeah, me too. So it just came out. We're going to spoil the hell out of it. I think we've given it the requisite amount of time. But just in case, if you have not seen Cobra Kai Season 4, do not watch the rest of this. Go watch it right now and then come back and you can talk about it later.
You should go ahead and just put spoilers in the title for this because it's just entirely going to be spoilers.
Yeah, that's true. All right. And then also, if you have not seen Season 1, 2, or 3, why are you watching this? You skipped the first 3. We have 3 other videos on those episodes or those seasons. And also, go watch those first before you look at stuff about Season 4, you dork. All right. Also, please, if you like this stuff, if you like talking about MMA, hearing about MMA, talking about MMA, anything the UFC does or MMA news, we talk about that every single week, every Sunday. Hopefully more often it will be the we, because somebody finally finished their degree. So unlike yours truly, somebody's been actually productive in their life doing real bullshit. No, real shit instead of bullshit.
Yeah, that's a matter of opinion. Let's say that.
Yeah, he's doing real things. Anyway, please like and subscribe. It helps out a lot. I really appreciate it. Let's get started. First thoughts, Season 4.
All right. I have no idea. By the way, we haven't talked about it.
No,
at
we
all.
have not.
So this is completely fresh.
Yep.
I thought it was the best season since the first one.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Okay, so my favorite so far has been Season 3 because I liked the dynamic between Johnny. Okay, before we get into that, I liked the season a lot.
Yes.
A lot. I felt that it got too into the weeds in certain parts that we can go into.
Fair.
There was a moment in the season finale where I had decided in my head that, oh my God, I hate this season. Like, I hate it. Like, it soured everything for me. And then
I'm very curious to hear what this was.
And then it turned around. It might not have been I don't even know if it was a single moment, but there was a culmination of things that happened, and I was like, oh, okay, I like it. And actually, no, I can tell you exactly what it was. But we can get into that later too. But I like the season a lot. I like it better than Season 2. I like it better than Season 1, but I don't like it better than Season 3. I think Season 3 is still my favorite because the play between Johnny and Danny is better. This season regressed in a way that I didn't like, and there was
Yeah.
Well, I mean, so what was your highlight of this season? What was your highlight and then the lowest point of the season for you?
Okay. And mine's going to be a little bit more conceptual versus like scene to scene. I think
Well, you're smarter than I am, so that's going to be how that goes. I'm going to say, "Oh, I saw there was green color. I like green." You're going to be like, well, the green represents the philosophical need for. So you're going to say it's something smart, and I'm going to say, "Oh, you punch him real hard, and I like a punch."
So I thought the best part of the season was both of ours favorite character from this show and her relationship and interaction with Tori.
Your favorite character? Oh, yes. No. Our favorite character. Oh, yes. Okay. I was like, hold on. You like Sam? I hate Sam.
Oh, well, hold on. No. I didn't say my least favorite character.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, she's my least favorite. Okay. Yes.
So Danny's wife. Yeah. Amanda's interaction with Tori and kind of and not as much like Amanda's development, because she did have a little bit of development.
She didn't have a lot of screen time in this season.
Not a lot of screen time, but all of her screen time was really good and directly driving Tori's storyline forward and developing her character a lot more.
Yes.
To the point where, I had an interesting thought, especially by the end of the season. it felt like they knew Tori was going to win when they started writing this season. It didn't feel like they had decided who was going to win
the men's
on the
tournament.
men's side as they went through writing.
Okay.
That was kind of like that was a lot of my impression, especially by the end of it after I digested it. I was like, all right, it feels like they knew Sam wasn't going to win. They knew Tori was going to win. But when they started writing this season and writing episodes out, they hadn't 100% decided who was going to win on the men's side.
Check out this promotional poster. This promotional poster, okay, the Cobra Kai season 4 promotional poster. I'll show it to the audience so you can see that. Poop. Yeah. Come on, pull it up. There it is. All right. So it's really badass. It's got the Danny and Johnny on one side with all their students, and then
I see what you're talking about.
Silver and so here's the thing. I said it in my season 3 review why I didn't watch the preview, right? Why I didn't watch the preview for this season. It's because it's going to spoil something I'm going to watch anyway.
Mm-hmm.
And this is where I'm going to be honest with the people watching this right now. I don't remember Karate Kid 3 that well.
So, and I had rewatched it, and honestly, like, I felt like it got a bad rap.
I don't remember it. I don't know if I've ever... Okay, I had to have seen it at some point, because I remember the references. I don't know if I've ever seen it all the way through, and I did not remember this character immediately, and then when they started showing the scenes, I'm like, oh, okay. Dude, he's a weird pull. I'll say that.
Well, it made sense off season 3, because he was in season 3 in all the flashbacks. So, like...
Yes, for people who know that, then yes.
All right, so I realized he was coming back in season 3 because of all the flashbacks. And I wasn't 100%, but yeah, and his character ended up being one of the best parts of the season, especially by the end of it, just because of him taking over as being the overarching villain across the board. Because they kind of did something similar to Kreese's character as they, did to both Johnny and Danny's in pulling him a little bit back towards being a sympathetic villain. Like, not a ton, but at the end there.
The last 2 episodes.
Yes.
You're right. So the last 2 episodes, the second to last episode.
Introduce the idea that now he does see himself a little bit more as that father figure, and obviously tortured and,
he's not still a good shit person.
It's not a good person.
Yeah.
But they pull him away from being like the absolute villain and introduce
morally
someone that's
reprehensible.
They introduce someone that kind of took a turn and ends up being, oh no, this is going to be the
fucking worst.
Yep.
Which is weird because when they introduce him, he's a successful businessman, which is as deep as they go into it, by the way. Like, they're like, they don't talk about anything that he does. Like, I think there was not an offhanded
he pretty much sums up Karate Kid 3 in his introduction as he's talking about it from a bad sense of like, I went off the rails. I was doing coke and I tortured a teenager for like...
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So like, he has perspective on it. He's got like sort of that Amanda type quality about him, right? Where he points out the absurdity of 80s cheese. By the way, Carrie Underwood, she's the one who performed at the end, right?
Yep.
Right. Carrie Underwood, I'm not a fan of hers. Like, I don't dislike her. It's just not my style of music, right? I never liked American Idol. I don't really listen to that type of pop country. That's beyond the point. The cool thing was her rendition of an 80s montage song. Pretty fucking cool. I liked it, especially superimposed over like the fights that were going on in the tournament. Super cool. I liked it. That was fun.
That was fun. I enjoyed that.
Yeah, but the absurdity, right? So he points out the absurdity of what happened in Karate Kid 3 with Silver basically torturing Danny when he was a kid, bringing him, like when he was coming to Cobra Kai to learn things, he brought out his aggression, blah, 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 all this other crap. And now the reference in season 3 when Danny says, hey, I used to be Cobra Kai, that's why, what, blah, blah, blah. Okay, I get all that now. But... dude, I thought the turn for him was I liked his turn, and I liked how it felt like a fast jump at some point, but I guess it was pretty gradual because like it was just that one moment where John Kreese, rails him after, they have that little back and forth in their dojo, and he goes like, you stepped out of line. Remember, you were a little like, I saved you in Vietnam. You were afraid. I wasn't afraid. Blah, blah, blah. You owe me. And then Silver's like, teary-eyed and like, of course, and, kind of falls back into place. Then he's like drinking and he beats up Stingray. Oh, yeah, Stingray makes a return. Really odd one. And
he serves just enough of a like, yeah, I was going to be disappointed in him coming back. I was like, that's a weird character to bring back. But they literally write him in just the amount that they need to for the plot point. And I'm like, okay.
Yeah, I thought it was interesting where he beats the shit out of him because he comes back and he wants to be a part of Cobra Kai, and Silver beats the
Kreese. Kreese rejects him.
Kreese rejects him, and then he comes back again. Silver's in there drinking, getting super drunk, and then he beats the shit out of him and says, then they flash back to it later when, Stingray opens up or wakes up in the hospital, and he says, like, you got to do something for me first. And basically he set up John Kreese. It's the very last scene, one of the last scenes of the season. Actually, I think it's the second to last, where, him and John are sitting there after, winning the overall for the tournament. And he's saying, your weakness is Johnny, and my weakness is you. His weakness being John Kreese, and he's like called the cops on him. He framed him for beating the shit out of this guy, attempted murder. So now he's going to go to jail. So I did a little preview in season. I said, like, my little prediction was I think they finish John Kreese's arc in the season. I said they either finish it in this season or the next one. And then I was wrong about some things. I don't know. I liked the introduction of Silver. How did you feel about the other new characters? I guess some of the more spotlight, the junior high bullshit. Like, did you like that?
I think it's setting it up for something in the next season.
Yeah,
I'm not
season
quite
5, absolutely.
Yeah. It's definitely setting up for something in that season. I wasn't too mad at it. I had to look up the actor for Anthony Ridley, or Danny's son, to see if it was
one.
I know.
Yeah, you could tell his face is about the same. He just got tall and lost weight, or got leaned out. Yeah.
Yeah. So I had to look that up, but yeah, I wasn't mad at it. Like, I thought it was interesting because Anthony Summers suffers from a lot of what Sam suffers from, which is growing up rich. Like,
yes, more
part
so.
of why Sam is a super unsympathetic character is just because of how good she had it growing up, and her lack of awareness of how good she has it compared to other people, and being spoiled. So Anthony has that, and both of them kind of are essentially a little bit of bullies in this season. Anthony obviously way more so than Sam, but
so he becomes kind of a bully just to fit in with the other kids. But but it escalated really quickly, and those other kids are clearly way worse than him. And he was, I think it was more innocent beforehand. Like, he was probably just friends with these kids, and they're just more turds than he is, and he just went along with it. And then I really did not like this storyline with Kenny. He just happens to be the brother of the guy that Robbie beat, had a fight with in juvie. And he's new in town, and he's the son of a military man, so he has to go from place to place really often. Doesn't have a lot of friends, and then he gets picked on. He's super nerdy, and now he's the bullied one, so he goes to Cobra Kai, just like Miguel did, just like Eli did, in season 1. And they're trying to set that up again, trying to draw the allegories, but it was because go ahead.
It was too much screen time.
Okay, so
this I get the point of his character in giving Robbie someone to essentially be the Johnny to
mentor,
because ultimately, Kenny is Robbie's Miguel, and Robbie's taking the role basically as his father. So like, and that's ultimately what kind of brings them together at the end of the season. Huge spoiler. But
yeah,
I think they could have accomplished that with way less screen time, because ultimately that took away a lot from other characters that I think needed. I think Miguel lacked a lot of development that he needed in this season, and not like I'm saying he needed to progress in anything, but I think more needed to be focused on the underlying father issues that he was having, and
this is why,
and more needed to be made out of that, because that would have had more impact on him, his decision, and what he did at the end of the season.
So I just want to say something. I'll let you continue because I know you're on. You're saying a lot of stuff that I am agreeing with, but I just want to get this out there. This season suffered from what I would consider, like I generally call the Amazing Spider-Man 2 or Justice League syndrome, which is we got all these characters, throw them all in here, stir the pot, and let's see what comes out. Oh, no one gets enough development, no one has enough screen time, and this is a season, so like it has a lot more screen time to develop all these minor characters and these minor storylines, these A, B, C, D plot lines. So it's not totally underdeveloped, but this is why I didn't like this season as much as season 3.
Yes.
I felt like season 3 had just the right amount of characters. You know, they even got rid of some characters for season 3 with Sam's best friend who ends up going, moving away, who makes an appearance in this season just as like a offhanded, like,
she makes enough of, like, that was the right amount of screen time for that side.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Like, I thought that was handled really well. I think we're both in agreement. It was too much development for Kenny, I would say.
So Kenny, and then also because it brings up what's Danny's son?
Anthony. Who also,
Tony.
Like, I don't think he was even in the last season. Like, I think he had like a fucking scene.
Yeah, you know what? I don't remember much from season 3 from him being in there, but yes. So they're trying to develop him as a character as well and flesh out his whole storyline. When his whole storyline before was he was the comedic relief. Honestly, that's what all he was.
No interest in karate, comedic relief.
Yes,
clearly just another. He was a highlight of how essentially Danny's success and focus outside of his family just took him away from his kids.
Yeah.
He was just a highlight example of that.
So that's my least... Dogs. That was my least favorite thing about this season. A couple other things I didn't like about this season. I did not like the bickering and then the breakup again. It felt like rehashing old shit. I understand they did it organically, which is why I don't hate it.
All right. I'm not mad at it. Like, I think it is. All right. I'm going to just. You finish up and then I'm going to disagree with you.
Okay. You finish up and I'll tell you why you're fucking wrong. Move your head to the left. There. Perfect. All right. So I didn't like how they bickered. No, sorry. I liked how they bickered. What I didn't like is how they broke up. So I might have said that wrong earlier. But I like the back and forth. I like the differences. And I understand story-wise why they couldn't train together anymore because it didn't work narratively speaking. Them training under the same dojo, it just didn't work. Both, their styles, but also narratively. So I understand why they did it. Okay. The means by which they end up breaking up, I didn't like. I didn't. I think it was because in season 1, 2, I could buy it. Even in season 3, I could buy it because they don't communicate with each other. Robbie and Johnny hate each other, right? They're enemies. Like, they have little to no respect. Like, yes, they get little tiny moments of respect, but then it's immediately followed by something where they lose respect for each other and they don't want anything to do with each other, right? So these little spats and like, hey, don't train him. When Miguel takes to Danny's training and he really wants to learn a lot about Miyagi-Do, and then when Sam starts training, wanting to learn more about Eagle Fang. By the way, I love that. Eagle Fang is so stupid, and I love it. But anyway, I understand them not wanting the other person to fall under the influence of the other sensei person, whatever, right? I understand that. The lack of communication, and I feel like it could have been done better, right? There could have been more screen time. They could have had a discussion about it an actual discussion, not a backhanded way like, oh, you think you're better. I didn't need any more of that. Fun bickering is great. When they're having real discussions and real problems, I felt like they could have handled it better and split up and still had the same animosity, still had the same, level of respect for each other, and split their dojos up, right? And then you could still have the Sam sneaking off to work with Eagle Fang and, them obviously her and Miguel are back together, so they're still dating. So Miguel, even going to work with Miyagi-Do. I know he didn't do that, but he could have done that, and then they could have still had a fight about that later, and I would have been okay with it. Because after they split, I'm okay. Before they split, I'm okay. It's the splitting part itself I didn't like. I didn't like how it happened, and I felt like it dragged the story down for me. Also because it splits up all these characters, so it really muddles the finale. And so I'll let you go, but I'll tell you the spot because I remembered it. The spot in the final tournament that turned it around for me is when Miguel got hurt and doesn't come back. When he doesn't come back, for me, like I just got chills. So when he doesn't come back, it's perfect. It takes him out because he doesn't want to be there anyway. They didn't give him enough development time. The story's about other people now. So that turned it around for me, and I was like, oh, okay, they don't have to do anything hokey. Because an injury while competing, especially a re-aggravation of something that, like, I mean, you and I probably both have had joint injuries while working out, and the people who are watching this, and yes, if you injure a joint later on, you might have some atrophy around that joint, and it might not be as well protected. It might be easier to strain the muscles around that joint. So his back not being fully developed and going for a kick, like a spinning kick like that, it could have aggravated some underlying tiredness or fatigue that he would have in his lower back. This is not, I wouldn't say this is a MacGuffin. This isn't some random bullshit they just throw in there. I thought...
No, he was in a wheelchair last season.
Right. So I think... what I'm saying is, like, they didn't break his back again. Like, if they had, let's say, like, oh, his back's broken again and he can't walk again, like, that would be a little over the top. But him having an injury related to his previous injury, totally understandable. And it wasn't... I guess it was kind of at a convenient time. Like, it could have happened earlier in the tournament, but...
I mean, they set it up well. Like,
right.
They put in little kernels throughout the season of, like, pointing out, hey, you just got out of a wheelchair. And then Johnny emphasizing
protecting him.
This is a really... Well, also Johnny emphasizing on how hard the kick was to pull off.
Yes.
And I think he even said, like, he had pulled a hamstring or something.
Yes. Trying
it one time. So, like, he hinted at, I'd injured myself trying this.
Right. So I thought it was done really well. And then once he leaves, and it just, like, opens the floodgates for all the other storylines to complete organically and satisfactory. Oh, my God. That turned it around for me. I'm like, hell yes. Because then, okay, we'll talk about the finale in a second, but I want you, tell me what you thought about their split. Okay, you need to unmute yourself if you're going to tell me about their split.
I'll do what I want. I thought the split made sense, and purely because of the Terry Silver angle, I just didn't think they backed it up enough because of how many people probably were unfamiliar with season 3.
Okay.
Like, to Danny, Terry Silver was more terrifying than Kreese was.
Not season 3.
Karate
Kid 3. Right.
Karate Kid,
Right. Okay.
Because of his background with him, I think to Danny, Terry Silver is more of a villain than Kreese. Like, he is scarier. He brings about worse memories than Kreese did, or Johnny did. That was the, if fucking, whoever you want to phrase it, Johnny or Kreese is Darth Vader. Like, Terry Silver to Danny is Palpatine. Like, that's it. Like, that guy is just pure evil.
Gotcha.
So that was supposed to be what really drove him over the edge of, like, all right, I'm not playing around. I'm going to what I know.
Okay.
It's not worth trying anything weird on. I don't think they fleshed it out well with the dialogue, and I don't think they fleshed it out well with kind of like what you're pointing out, like it being bickering. Like, I think Danny really needed to have a more serious tone with it and have a more serious, like...
Yeah, he could. He's a well-spoken individual in the show.
Yeah, it needed to be less like, no, I'm better than you. No, you're not. I would have won. And it should have been more of a serious tone of, no, I'm not taking any risks on this. I've never seen your style work. I've only seen mine work.
Perfect. It could have been done.
Like
Dude,
he could have
you just said
been,
one line that would have fixed that entire
it
the
literally
story
should
for
have just
me.
said, "I've never seen your style win in competition.
That would have been
I've never
perfect.
seen your style win. I've only seen mine win, and I've only seen mine work against this guy. So I need to go with what I know." Like that would have just taken. They could have still had their spat, which, God, the fucking double knockout I was annoyed by. So like as I'm watching their fight scene, because of what happened in the scene before, I was like, okay. And then have that moment come in where Hawk comes in with his head shave. I'm like, it didn't have the like. I didn't feel like it had the right impact.
What do you mean?
So like when Johnny and Danny did their, point fighting.
Oh, okay,
and
their
then, like,
double knockout.
That double knockout. I was like, that was not how I expected that to go in terms of finishing, and I think it would have been better if it was at 2-2 and then Hawk came in and that caused the thing to stop.
Yeah, I would have been okay with. Honestly, that was such a throwaway thing. I forgot that happened until right now.
Yeah.
I just watched that yesterday or 2 days ago, and I already forgot that it happened.
But that's why I think that's part of why I didn't like that scene.
Yeah, no,
because it really
did. Yep.
It was Danny and Johnny fighting, and it had almost no impact.
Yeah, in the first season when they fight, is it the first season when they fight in Johnny's apartment?
Yeah.
Yes, dude, much better.
One of the most memorable scenes in the entire series.
Yeah,
this scene, just because of the double knockout thing and being like, all right.
Yeah,
like
I didn't like it.
It was stupid, and I honestly would have rather had Johnny win there, but Danny be so stubborn that he refuses to admit to it. Like that would have been more interesting.
Yeah,
like
I'd be
playing
okay
into
that.
playing into Danny's stubbornness in spite of, and especially would have been more interesting if Danny had been so adamant to, "I've never seen yours win in a competition."
Right, like I said, you like just said a sentence that could fix the freaking season for me.
Like
almost.
That could have. It would have made that issue back and forth a little bit better. All right, and the other thing that I think bothered me and took away from the finale a little bit was they didn't develop Hawk enough. He missed out on a lot of screen time. I felt like he needed to.
Yes, I agree with you. I'm thinking,
and that's why I said at the beginning, I don't think they picked who was going to win the competition until maybe like halfway through, or I don't know how many episodes they had written complete before they decided on it. Because like I don't feel like they gave him enough of an arc or enough time training it. Like I felt like he should have had more time training at Miyagi-Do, and essentially more time. Like you actually don't really see. You see like 2 like 5-second things of him training with Danny. Like they never really develop a bond together.
No, because it was more about Miguel.
But with that split of Miguel gone and not training with Danny anymore, and then you kind of have that moment where like Hawk shows up and it's like, all right, he's going to be the person that fights for Miyagi-Do. You don't really have that kind of like, you don't really have any connection between him and Danny. He just kind of shows up there.
Yeah, one of my favorite characters this season was he's always been one of my favorite. Like I've liked him since the first season, is Dimitri.
Yeah,
he's been fantastic since season 1, but the fact that I think his arc has been probably the most gradual and satisfying arcs of any side character, because he starts from being the nerdiest of the nerds with, yes, he has like, he's awkward and weird, but he doesn't have like a physical deformity, and then he points out the absurdities similar to how Amanda does in the whole first season. He doesn't have any he's not physically blessed. He has to learn the hard way. Like he points out he points out exactly what the whole Miyagi training is. He's like, you're trying to train my muscle memory so that I know these moves and blah, blah, blah. Like
he serves as that grounded Amanda character too.
Right.
Like
but in this season, like it's fully developed. Like he can fight, at the end of season 2, in that fight at the school, he ends up beating Hawk. He beats Eli.
Yeah.
Remember, he kicks him into the trophy case.
All right. So I'm going to fix something else in this season.
Please do.
All right. Hawk shouldn't have showed up at Miyagi-Do like to train with Danny, Hawk should have showed up at the tournament and said, I'll be in Miyagi-Do, and he should have been training with Eli. It should have just been like, there's, because they kind of like hinted at it a little bit with like, it's just me and you. Yeah, I'm sorry, Dimitri.
Okay.
Like,
yeah,
Eli, like you could have had an episode prior to the season finale of, of Dimitri like convincing Eli to get off his couch, but Eli not wanting to commit, and just been like, hey, let's just train together. You don't have to pick anything. It's just me and you. So it could have just been those two training together. And then as the tournament's like getting ready to start, that's when Eli comes out in the Miyagi-Do gi and says, I'm fighting with my brother. And
so made
it kind of a friendship thing with them.
That would have been cool. I didn't hate the development from him because there wasn't much. I felt like his storyline, I don't. Now that you pointed it out, you're right. I don't think it was satisfactory, but in the moment, I didn't think I missed it because I was so focused on everything else. Like I said, there's a lot of stuff packed into this season.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I'll talk about the finale now. I mean, we can always go back and talk about other things, but because we're talking about Eli, we might as well talk about the finale. He wins the fucking tournament, and it's
goddamn right. It was very satisfying,
dude. Like, my god, dude. Like, I got chills. So when he's competing against everybody, like, or before he starts to compete, he goes in and Moon comes up to him, and he's like, I don't know who I am anymore. And she's like, you are you, and like the whole sappy girlfriend crap, whatever. I'm not trying to demean it. I'm just saying like it doesn't hit home for me. But when she says gives it, like she wants to help him get his confidence back, she kisses him, and then like he does, like the actor who portrays Eli, I want to give him props. What's his name? Jacob Bertrand. I'm looking at the cast. Dude, the way he goes from his face, the way he goes from when he's Hawk to back to Eli, like the way he sags his face and like his eyes, like he lets his eyes droop a little bit, and like,
oh yeah,
dude, it's like Superman. It's like Superman and
his ability to
Clark
emote,
Kent,
like just purely with how he displays himself. It's fucking phenomenal.
So good. And then when he gets like the Hawk face back and then double stomps, like he jumps and double stomps onto the match, like fuck yes, like it's so cool. Also his if you go back and watch it again, just his movements, because they show him prior to that, like fighting a couple of matches and like winning, but him not being there, and the energy behind his striking, his movements, the choreography for him also just changes. Yes,
like he really like fantastic physical actor.
Yeah, he does a really freaking good job. I think, and then so the moment when that Robbie and him are going back and forth and it's 2-2. But also here's the thing: did it happen in this one too, where he was out? He was out already, but they gave the point to Robbie.
No, they didn't start doing that until the next fight.
No. It happened in another one, but it went the other way. Remember? I don't remember. Oh, crap. They were out. They were clearly out, and then someone landed a strike, and they were like, hey, ref, he was out already. And they're like, what the heck? And it was reversed in the finals, right? In the women's final, it was reversed. She was out, or she wasn't out yet.
I remember at one point he pushed Robbie out, and they just called it no point out, and they continued on. I didn't think...
No, I thought Robbie scored a point when Eli was already out. It might have happened earlier in the tournament, but...
yeah.
Also, in the tournament, Robbie has to face the new guy,
Kenny,
and he beats a shit. Like, he treats him not like a friend early, and then he beats a shit out of him and breaks his nose or whatever.
Dark side.
Yeah, and... then Danny has this moment with him. I'm saying this because it plays into the last fight. But Danny comes over and talks to him. It's like, hey, if you do this, like, you don't win at all. He's like, that's one of the lessons, right? So in this fight, he lands. He can't land anything. Robbie's just toying with him, and he goes back and talks to him. He's like, listen, like he's been at Miyagi-Do way longer. Like, he knows all the moves. Like, what am I supposed to do? And he's like, you were at Cobra Kai longer. It's like, be aggressive. And this coming from Danny is super cool. Also plays into the final one.
Yeah.
And then Eli, like, then they do, like, it's really cool because, like, one of them starts using Cobra Kai moves, and then the other one defends it with Miyagi-Do, and then they reverse. One of them starts doing Cobra, and then they both jump up in the air and kick, and then Eli lands the kick, but Robbie doesn't. So some really cool moments. It's 2-2, and it goes to the sudden death thing. I thought they did a really good job with, oh crap. It's not continue.
It didn't really connect to me now, but remember, Hawk was the one that, like, kind of attacked his injury in the first tournament. So this was actually, I didn't even think about it. This is a rematch for them.
Yes, it is. But he lost to Robbie in the first one.
He did, and also, like, partially because he was playing dirty. And,
yes.
Yeah, but that legitimately didn't occur to me till right now that it was a rematch. I forgot.
Yeah, yeah. And then. Obviously, Robbie's the one who cuts his mohawk off in this season. But also, oh, crap. What's that? Continuity. That's the word I was looking for. They did a really good job with continuity because at one point, Robbie's gi top comes undone, right? Like his, what is the belt called in martial arts? Is it just a belt? I thought there was a special name for it. But anyway.
There probably is.
Anyway, his belt comes undone, and the gi top is like hanging open. Dude, I was looking so hard for a scene where it wasn't holding open. I was like, oh, I bet you they screwed this up.
Obi,
okay.
Yeah.
So they did a great job with continuity. It was open, it stayed open, and then it plays into the final. He takes it off, and then Eli looks over at him.
I knew the moment it started to come undone, I was like, oh, they're going fucking no shirt for the last point.
But the best part of that wasn't him. Like, he takes it off.
It was the Hawk.
Yes, that's what I love. Dude, okay, again, more chills. Like, Robbie, like, he's in really good shape for however old he is. I don't know how old that actor is. Looks like he's probably in his, like, early 20s. Let me see. Early 20s. Anyway, he looks like he's in pretty good shape.
Yeah, 23.
Yeah. So he looks like he's in pretty good shape, and so does. And then that's the thing is, like, the dude who plays Eli, like, when he takes his shirt off, like, he's shredded too. Like, he's in really good shape. And here's a little side note. I coming from my background in bodybuilding, I really notice physiques. So those two have the best physiques of, like, anybody in the show. Like Sam, Miguel, everybody got kind of fucking pudgy. So, and
that was like the first thing my wife said when we started watching. She was like,
fat.
"Oh, Miguel." I'm like, when you see him, it looks like he just has unfortunate genetics for his face. Like,
yeah, no, he's not a fat guy. No, he's not fat. He's just he gained a little weight in his face. Whatever. Obviously
he pulls the Vin Diesel move of just keeping a tank top on the whole time.
Yes. Yeah, he is not shredded, but dude, the Jacob and Tanner Buchanan, so those are, you know, Robbie and Eli, they are shredded to the bone. They come out. Eli's actually more lean.
Lower body fat.
Yes.
Yeah.
Dude, and then when he, like, turns around and does, like, the Hawk flex, I'm like, fuck, yes! And, like, that fight is so good. I thought it was a little corny that he didn't get a clean win. Like, at one point, Robbie has a moment where he could have won, but he looks away instead and doesn't win, and Eli ends up getting the win. So it kind of cheapens his victory. I thought because they were so evenly matched, they didn't have to do that. It's kind of cheesy for me. They could have just – I felt like he could have won. Like, there's no reason he couldn't narratively have won that. But Eli winning the tournament, fucking awesome. I loved it.
I'm going to argue this. If Eli had fought the way that he could have fought the whole time, he would have won. Because, like, he 2 point down from trying to fight unnaturally to himself.
Right.
So, but dude, it was great.
Eli is, he wasn't my favorite character, but he was definitely a highlight of the show from the get-go because his transformation, right? Honestly, it was probably the most emotional one because coming from, you know, again, dude, he's one of the best actors on this show.
Yep. And then taking that whole arc of being fully one of the most picked on, you know, bully kids in the show to being essentially the quintessential bully of the entire school, and then returning back, and then, you know, we're all cheering for him.
Dude, the moment in season 3 when he makes the turn back, like, that's another, like, I have chills again. Like, I get goosebumps every time I think of, like, the Eli moments. Like, dude, when he makes a turn, he's like, "I'm sorry for everything," and then
he has that moment this season where basically everyone, he realizes like he has that moment of feeling alone in this season because of all the shit he did.
Yeah.
When basically, he spends the whole day getting his ass kicked, training with the people he's supposed to be on the same side of, and then even Danny just, why should anyone trust you?
Yeah.
Like when he has that moment, and then to like come out at the end here, like it was a highlight of the season, and that's why I wish they kind of committed a little bit more to him. Not a ton, but just a little bit more attention to him could have helped make that moment a little bit stronger.
I think they buried the lead with it. I think if they had done that, I don't disagree that it would have made it better. It probably would have. I think focusing on him couldn't hurt because, like I said, I think he is the best actor in the one of the best actors in the series. But
they could have still buried the lead more with Miguel, because that's the other. If they had devoted way more to Miguel and then just a little bit more to Eli, it could have had the same effect or better.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Yeah. What did you think about the final female fight? Also, side note, what did you think about the commission,
Hold on. That was the most accurate thing to this whole series.
Yep,
the fucking commission. I can see by your face.
Those fucking 5 idiots bickering back and forth about the
I was like, oh, hey, look, it's the Nevada State Athletic Commission.
Dude, like the argument about the blue mats comes back up again. Like they keep making fun of him for not being able to get the celebrity the last time. Like they got all those cups of coffee to make like one of the most basic ass decisions ever. Like, should we add a skills competition? Yes or no?
The person in charge of it is a dentist. Like, it's fucking...
Yes.
I was like, oh my god, this is the most accurate part of the show in terms of martial arts, is just the commission being a bunch of fucking wackos. Just.
And then like that one guy saying something, I forget, like kind of like the offhanded remark he makes about women, and it wasn't like super aggressive, but I think it was kind of jokey. And then the other chick's like, yeah, that's why you're like that's really worked really well in your 3 marriages. Like,
it was great.
It's so bad. I loved it. But anyway, that was a side note because, well, Carrie Underwood's singing, like they're like, oh, that son of a bitch, he did it. Like, he got her. So I thought that was pretty funny. What did you think of the last fight? Because arguably, I think you and I are in agreement. Sam is our least favorite character of the show.
Yes.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
And Tori, I'd never liked Tori either, by the way. I don't think she has been developed enough, and she's like over the top bitchy.
She had not been until this season. She bumped up a lot this season.
Yeah, they tried to do the sympathy thing with her mom last season and the season before, like when they introduced her, but
they had the sympathy thing last season, but I think this season they showed her hustling, which is I think what they were missing.
Okay.
Like I really think the hustle of like her actually bouncing from job to job, trying to get back into school, actively fighting with one of her family members, and kind of like having that fear of losing her little brother, which I thought it was weird that out of all the little extra side characters they showed in there, them missing out on like having some human to human interaction between her and her little brother, I think
that could have helped.
That could have been an easy layup scene of like, showing her trying to put groceries on the table for him. But like, I think they did her character right this season, and they set it up extremely well to take a character that maybe wasn't anyone's favorite or people didn't really have a lot of attachment to, and having some attachment, and then tying her to Amanda and kind of developing that out. I thought that was much better.
So I think she did a good job, or they did a good job, and then that Amanda thing was key, man. Like, she's still my favorite character in the show. She has.
Well, Tori got the Amanda boost.
She
Characters that Amanda has good interactions with get a boost from interacting with her character.
Yes, and it was so well played because Amanda doesn't do anything hokey. They stay true to her character, where it's very grounded in reality with her. Right, this isn't 80s cheese bullshit with her. By the way, I'm not shitting on 80s cheese. I've said this in my other reviews. I love 80s cheese. 80s cheese is what this show is based on. 80s cheese is what those movies are based on. I love them. They're perfect for what they are. But having someone who's grounded in reality like Amanda really elevates the show. And the fact that she has stayed relatively consistent for 4 seasons is awesome. And it plays well with the other characters. So then when someone like Tori interacts with her, because think back, when do you see Tori interacting with a non-manipulative, non-over-the-top character in the show? When do you see her interacting with anybody else in any other season?
Yeah, no, they never.
It's
they
only
never really
for fighting.
They never put her with any of the other grounding characters.
Right.
They do a good job of keeping them separately, and they even have a good slip up for her at the beginning of the season to kind of set her up to rebound herself with Tori. Of her doing something that she would have criticized Danny or anyone else for doing, going and showing up at Tori's work to like threaten her, and immediately seeing the consequences of her doing that and feeling bad for it.
Oh, okay, right.
Yeah.
Well, no, but she didn't threaten.
Because she does that kind of cliche '80s thing. So like she has that little bit of moment, like sprinkled in right at the beginning, and immediately realizes, wow, this was fucking stupid.
But I don't think that was '80s cheese. I think that was realistic.
The menu down of like, oh hey.
Okay, well, how they played it, the hiding the reveal from the character in the show. Yeah, fine.
Like I said, just a teeny bit, but then she immediately makes that full course correction. The one thing they kind of missed out on, which I was waiting for but never happened, she never talked to Sam.
They never tried at the end of the season, at the end of the fight, but then never got to it. Yes.
Well, but they never showed her like. And maybe they kind of did a little bit, but like, she never really confronted Sam on any of Sam's bullshit. And I was like, huh.
Yeah.
Because I felt like she could have really put her foot down more of like, hey, this is like her making her clear, like, this is not just some one-sided thing. This like, because Sam clearly and flagrantly bullies this girl in front of her. And the mom never really like calls Sam out on like, hey, you're living up here in our fucking mansion, and like that girl's out there.
Why don't you cool your shit?
Yeah, you're not working, and you're fine doing whatever you want to do. Like, you don't fuck with someone at work when they're trying to put food on the table.
Yeah, that was pretty shitty. I also don't like how Sam kind of got away with everything in the season. Again, like in the first season, she gets away with not murder, but
which is as you say that, it makes me really enjoy her fucking line at the end of the season, because her last line was, "We did everything right, and we lost."
Yeah, no, you didn't.
And it's like, but you didn't.
No, you fucking didn't. Like you're a piece of shit. Like you are a spoiled brat. Like at least her brother Tony, right, Anthony.
Mm-hmm.
Like he realizes, like, oh man, I've been kind of garbage, and he takes out the garbage. And that was a good moment though, because
like he does he has his fucking honorable moment at the end, trying to
because he goes and talks to that kid, and he tries to apologize to him and stuff, and then I understand from that other kid's point of view, like some guy coming up to say sorry for like torturing me, but then again, like it was like fucking 2 weeks. Right? It wasn't like this like years worth of torment that has built up. It's like he made fun of you a couple times, and then all of a sudden you go learn karate, and then you're basically tormenting him. Like this is why I didn't like it. Right? I didn't like his turn and how fast it was and how aggressive he became. I guess if you want to go with the nature and nurture thing, like because he comes from the same household as his brother, like he has that. But the thing is, they made him out to be meek and afraid of conflict and wanting to avoid those things. And like, you're gonna tell me that Robbie, drug up some innate like aggression that this kid had in a matter of like a couple. Get the hell out of here! Like it was way too fast.
They also didn't show that development in Cobra Kai, and that's part of where they fucked up on this. They really missed out on a lot of the training aspect.
Yeah, because they have too many characters.
So because the other characters, you see their evolution through the different training experiences.
Yeah, and
there was not enough of that in this season to blend with the outcomes they wanted to have for the most part. Because even Tori winning, she didn't really have any training developments. Like she had some life ones, but most of that was off screen. Like.
It was the dancing that she did with Robbie, and then they did a dance fight like at the pool.
The dance fight I could have done with that. I actually didn't mind the dance.
Dancing was fine. That scene was fine.
I thought that was scene I could have done without the entire fight at the pool. Like, that was dumb.
It was
I was actually like,
oh,
come on, they're not doing this again, are
yes,
they? Like,
it was bad.
I had that moment as I was watching. It was like, really? And then
wait, no, hold on. What was the moment?
The moment when Miguel was
with Tori. Yep.
With Tori.
That's
I was like,
the one.
oh, we're not doing this again.
That was the exact fucking thing, because that was exactly what happened in the school, dude. And like, I hated it. It was so bad. It was like the wrong kind of cheese.
Yep.
Move your head. Move your head.
And Sam, yes. And you're right. Sam never really faces any consequences because she started that fight. She just fucking kicked her.
Yeah, Tori was being a bitch. Who cares? That's her character. You should deal with that stuff. And
she was also coming at you for, at least you guys are just like at a party. It's not like she went to your place and started tormenting you. Like,
yeah, like the stuff. Okay, I'm not gonna defend Sam here because I've never liked her character. I don't like the story with her. The actress, I think she's fine. I don't think she's a good actress, but I don't think she drags. Like, I don't think like everybody else is trying to elevate her act. No, she's not bad. So from what I'm about to say, I don't want to come across like I'm defending Sam though. Tori was pretty fucking evil. Okay, like going to someone's house, breaking in the door, and committing assault. Like, yes, they've all committed assault, but she did breaking and fucking entering, doing like massive amount of damages. Shit she could go to prison for. Like, that's attempted murder type shit. Okay?
Without a doubt. Yeah, no. Like, no disagreement there. Like, they introduced her character to be the full-on wild card, like, polar opposite of Sam. But that's what was cool about them trying to pull back and ground that character this season.
Yeah, like the Charlie character when he's that wild card episode of it's like, whoa, wild card. Yeah, like, Charlie, what the fuck are you doing? Like, that kind of stuff. Yeah. Dude. So, and like, I understand that, like, the things, so relative, like, what I'm trying to do is set up relatively, like, Tori compared to Sam. Tori is a horrible person who has committed bad crimes. Sam is an asshole.
Yes.
Right. So when I say Sam, I don't like her, blah, 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 like, it's because she's an asshole. Like, she has no consequences for her being an asshole. She's spoiled. She's, like, there's nothing about her that's likable. And it's everything just goes her way until this moment.
It's hard for me to tell how much the writers want us to dislike her.
I don't think they're supposed to. I don't think they are.
That's what I'm struggling with, because like,
I don't think they are.
With this show, the writers purposefully make you dislike characters so they can rehab them. Like, they do a great job of it. I don't know how much we're supposed to actually dislike Sam. That's what I struggle with when I'm watching the series. I'm like, am I supposed to be rooting against her at this point? Like, am I supposed to be cheering for her? Like, there's a lot of times where I'm not sure where I'm supposed to be with the character versus where my head is at. Because
also, my highlight of the dance, Dimitri with his girlfriend.
Yes.
Dude, I love it because he knows too. Like Eli's like, how did this happen? He's like, dude, I don't know. Like, it doesn't make sense. It's so good.
It's a little bit of like, he almost breaks the fourth wall a little bit and kind of winks at us. Like,
yes.
I was just myself. Huh?
Yeah.
And I guess that worked.
So, the fight between Sam and Tori, the choreography, I've always had a problem with Sam's choreography. So,
yeah.
Miguel has his bad moments, like this show does in general. They have really bad moments of choreography, and they have great moments. The choreography between Sam and Tori in this, I think, is their best of the series. I think it's the most believable. And here's where the 80s cheese took it over the top, because I don't like Sam, right? I don't feel like she has earned what she's doing when I do like them. Here's the thing though, is like, I love the moment with Danny. So when he goes, like, when Danny asks Johnny to come over and, we didn't talk about that moment. We didn't talk about that one. When Danny goes to ask Johnny, like, hey, like, will you help me with Sam? Like, will you help me coach, and then the introduction when he goes, and the former 2-time all the Valley champion, Danny LaRusso. I just got some news. He is going to be co-coaching with Johnny Lawrence. And then Danny runs up to him, and I figured he was going to be like, oh, he's going to make him say Miyagi Fang instead of like Miyagi-Do. And he was like, no, sorry, correction. Also, 2-time All-Valley champion Johnny Lawrence. I'm like, again, chills. Like that moment, It's so good because it's touching and it's real. Like it shows you there's real growth finally.
Yeah, I also thought like I noticed that when they first said it and thought it was weird. I'm like, huh, why didn't they point out that Johnny was also a 2-time champion in the initial announcements?
Yep.
So like,
yeah, it's like everybody forgets about that.
It was a good like setup for them bringing that moment in there, and then. Also, when Sam kind of looks at Danny and there's like that look of unsureness in him, and then she just looks over at Johnny.
He's like,
and you see that legitimate like you got this look from Johnny.
Yeah.
And like, oh, that had me chills for it. I was like, God damn it, because I'm still like, I'm not a fan, but I love that connection that she had with Johnny.
Exactly.
Like her character's best moments were when she was with Johnny.
Dude, no, her character's best moments is when she's with anybody else because she's terrible.
Yeah, but specifically her character with Johnny,
it works really well.
And him challenging, because ultimately he challenges her being a spoiled brat.
Yes, yeah, he finally calls her on her bullshit.
He's the only character that really like edges away at that for her.
And I like it. It's good.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that moment with Danny where she goes over and asks him, and like they have that. Daughter-son moment, or father-daughter moment, right? I have some of those things. You figure I'd be able to say those things. Anyway, that moment was really touching, and it was sweet, and it was only because of Danny. Like that, it was carried completely because of Danny, and I didn't have any feelings towards Sam. So when he says, "Just be you," like she's like, and she comes over, she's like, what style should I use? And he's like, whatever you want, just feel it out. And then she like does like the classic kung fu movie style, like where she's like puts her like one hand like this and like her other hand up. Listen, that's 80s cheese, and I would love it from a character who fucking earned it. Like,
yes.
Do you know what I mean? Like, if another character had done it, I'd be okay with it.
Because you like the scene, like it was great. There was a lot of fun from seeing the scenes. I'm gonna pull it back to something completely different of watching Danny train in Cobra Kai style.
Yes,
like that's one of the best scenes, but ultimately it didn't really have any impact on it.
No,
I think you could have had those scenes, but with Sam. Like if you had Sam sneak away and instead have the montage of her doing knuckle push-ups, hitting the, having those moments of, blocking and striking back at the pitching machine, like.
Oh yeah, right.
Like in the episode before you get to the tournament, when she goes over and like she's training for a kick and they never show her training.
No, you're wrong. It does make sense. Because the one moment, I like that moment too, when after Tony gets in trouble, after Anthony gets in trouble, and he's sitting in his bed, and Danny walks by and he comes back and he's trying to be nice to him, and then he's like, quiet! He does the Johnny thing.
Okay, yeah, that.
And he's aggressive with him, and he finally learns, he's like, this kid needs discipline, and maybe it'll work, like, maybe this way will work with him.
Direct discipline approach. All right, no, that's fair. So, like, you do have that, but...
It's not as big of a payoff, I'll give you that, but it did play into the story.
That's fair. It did play into it. But ultimately you never see Sam getting back.
That's the other thing. It's like
she never gets the grit. Like what you get from Johnny is grit. And you never see her getting that.
Do you think it's because the actress, like, she can't do that stuff? Because all we've ever seen her do in the training is the dancey things, right? We saw her do the dual training with Robbie and like moves because she can do kata. Right? She can do the kata, but...
I gotta believe, they can set it up to where she can do it.
Like push-ups and stuff?
It's just some...
Yes, for you and I, and, people that I know, and most characters on the show, probably.
They can put some fucking wires on her and help her do some assisted push.
Whoa! Look, no hands.
They can definitely set some... and it doesn't even have to be the same training, obviously, but just some... gritty training. some train that's showing her.
I agree.
Getting down and dirty out of the valley and into
the cement mixer. I agree.
Yeah. Exactly. Legitimately. Like,
yes.
Her character was missing that.
All right. I mean, is there anything else you want to touch on the show?
The ref payoff was
weird.
Because it felt forced a little. Like it didn't. Because it didn't seem to have too much impact.
For what he's talking about, just in case you forgot the last fucking thing that happened in the show, Silver is shown paying off a ref and saying, that's why I noticed it earlier where he says the guy was out already and the point got counted, and this time she wasn't out and the point didn't count. So the ref was clearly favoring Cobra Kai.
Okay, I remember, No,
right.
Now I understand what you're trying to say.
Right.
Yes.
So it was shown more than once. So I understand that they're trying to pay it off. And let's bring a realism in here. If you were going to fix a karate tournament,
won't be that hard.
Well, no, hold on. If someone clearly loses and scores points on someone, like, you can't do anything about it. But that's why he was saying, oh, hit her in the other eye. Like, hit her in the other eye so she's blind. This ref isn't going to do anything about it, I guarantee it. So they do try to set it up a little bit. But yes, it felt so forced, and it like undermines Tori's performance, and it undermines like the show, like, and now it devalues her championship, and she doesn't feel like she won anything. So I'm sure that'll pay off in next season.
It's going to be unfortunate because like she's going to have that. It's probably going to set her up with a self-confidence issue or like it's going to set up a morality issue for her, even though she clearly did earn it.
Yeah, she would have lost because they were tied 2-2, but one of those points didn't get counted. But here's the thing, like, okay, this is way too much realism for this, but if I knew I was down, if I was about to lose, maybe I would fight different. So, like, if that point had been scored earlier, maybe the fight, whatever. Right. Tori could have won that. Sam could have won it. Right. That's fine. I didn't like that scene.
They fight 5 times. Or they fight 10 times. They probably each win 5-5.
Sure. that is way more analytics than this deserves. Everything we have just said about their fight is way more than it deserves. Yeah, I mean, I thought that was okay. Anything else?
No, I mean, the skills was fun. They flashed through it so quickly that it.
So I thought the skills competition was cool, but I also like this is just coming from like someone who's being overly critical. But if I noticed it on the first viewing, you'd be damn sure I'll notice it on the second one. When Eli goes for that high kick, the dude lifts the board up.
Yeah.
Like, it's like little shit like that. Like, if he's gonna fail, just let him fail. Like, why do you have to force it? Like, film it again. Do one more
the
take.
Actor, it was the third take, and the actor just kept breaking it by accident.
Yeah, I know.
So it's like, whoops, I can't not win. Sorry.
It's like, listen, Jacob, you gotta miss the last board. Like, tell him to hold it higher then. So like he holds it low on purpose and then yanks it out of his way, Charlie Brown style. There was other things like when they start the failing of the things. Like I loved when he threw the stick, like when he threw them at the judges.
It was funny. That was funny.
What, Penis Breath? I think that's that character.
Yep.
Oh my god, dude! Because that's realistic too. Like if you're at a regional under 18.
If you're at any high school basically karate tournament, you're gonna see some funny shit.
Yeah, like you're giving these kids. I know the Sai have like rounded tips, and then those what are those things called with the bar with the mini scythes that Dimitri uses? I don't know what weapon that is. It seems like a very weird weapon too, by the way.
Well, I mean, like a lot of that is just farm tools.
Yeah, that's why I said it's like a mini scythe. Like, yeah, that's where it comes from originally. Yes. So I like that. Yeah. Anything else stand out in the show? Can you think of anything else?
So I guess the one thing we didn't talk about, which was like the biggest arc for arguably the main character of the series, was Miguel's father issues. And honestly, the reason we're not probably addressing it much is because the show didn't address it much.
No, I don't care. I mean, it's going to be interesting when he goes to meet him.
they make it the primary issue for him moving into the next season was he went to Mexico City to find his father, who doesn't know he exists and might be a cartel.
Yeah.
Like Sicario or something. Who the fuck knows?
Yeah.
Like setting him up as some kind of, bad guy, and Johnny's gonna go follow him down there or try and find him, it sounds like. Which,
I mean, that moment with Johnny did get me teary-eyed when Johnny's drunk. No,
him and
we didn't talk about dude. That got me teary-eyed too.
Okay.
But no,
so
when he's
start with the drunk.
Okay, so Johnny gets beat up by Silver. He gets tricked by him and brought to the old Cobra Kai location, and then Silver beats the shit out of him. Miguel comes to talk to him about stuff going on in his life, and then he's he's drunk, like Johnny's drunk on the floor. So Miguel carries him to bed, takes off his shoes, and then takes another beer away from him. And he's like, that's where he's like, I'm trying to be a father to you, and I just keep failing. He's like, I'm so bad at it. And he's like, you're not doing that bad. And then he's like, I love you. And then Johnny goes, I love you too, Robbie. And then Miguel gets that hit of realism, oh, he's not really my dad. I thought it was just a mistake. From Johnny, right? Johnny probably just said that by mistake. He knew who he was talking to.
I think he might have legitimately been, because he was just coming from seeing Silver, and the reason he confronted Silver was because of Robbie.
Okay.
So
fine.
I do think Robbie was on the forefront of his mind.
But that's what he was those are the feelings that he had towards Miguel too. So,
but that's we're about to talk about basically two Oscar scenes in this season.
Yes.
Arguably the two scenes with the best acting in the season were one, Johnny's and Miguel's performance there.
So yes, outside of Eli's
Miguel,
constant
when Miguel
acting,
gets teary-eyed looking at Johnny after he says that about Robbie, and Johnny's delivery of it, fucking outstanding acting by both of them. That scene had some impact, which is why
that was real. That was really good.
Which is why I was frustrated by how little they gave Miguel this season.
And then the moment,
he's clearly one of the better actors in the show.
The moment at the end, which I feel like is Robbie's best bit of acting as well, because I've never liked Robbie. We didn't really talk about him much this season. I still don't like him, but he's more of a flat character for me instead of I can't stand when he's on screen. It's more oh, he's here, right?
Yeah.
So
I don't think he's ever gotten a good writing.
Nope.
And he doesn't get great storyline. And the problem is here's the biggest problem for him. He got paired up with Sam a lot.
Well, and
Sam kind of drug him down.
Well, I was just about to say he's the male version of Sam. Except, yes, life didn't give him everything, but it did. All of a sudden, he just gets everything, and then he acts like a spoiled brat. He acts like a spoiled brat, and whatever. Anyway, in this season, at the end of this, Johnny goes to the Cobra Kai dojo that he opened, right? Which they are no longer opening. And, he's looking at the memories of, the Cobra Kai saying on there, strike first, strike fast, strike first, strike hard, no mercy. Right. So when he was originally putting that on there with paint, and then the bell rings, and I didn't know who was coming through the door. Did you?
I kind of I knew it was going to be Robbie after his thing with Kenny.
Okay.
After he had that moment with him, I was like, okay, he's going to reconnect with Johnny at the end of this season.
Okay. So I thought maybe it was Danny, or it could have been Kreese.
I could have thought Kreese too at that moment too. Yeah.
So, but then I'm like, oh, but it's closed down. Why would Kreese come back here? Kreese has no memory of this place. He didn't open this place up. That's the old location. So that moment when Robbie comes in and basically says I tried to help somebody, and I just made it worse, and I just failed, and I can't change anything. My life's just fucked up. I'm just going to be fucked up forever. And Robbie's like, no, you're not. Or no, not Robbie. Johnny's like, no, you're not. And then they finally fucking hug. It's actually a cool father-son moment. Those are moments that's why I said Johnny and Danny are the real basis of this show. Everyone else is just ancillary characters that can have really cool moments. And yes, I don't think that they are the best actors at all times, but the moments with them hit the hardest. They just do. When the first couple seasons, anytime they have the moments with going flashbacks with Miyagi and Danny, right? When he remembers that stuff. Johnny going back and meeting with his father and his old friends and his friend passing away. All of those things, they hit the hardest because they're the most important. And then this moment, man, like, it's finally nice, and I'm hoping that in season 5 that Robbie gets like his due. I hope he turns into a character that like you can actually root for and not just somebody who's been given everything.
Yeah, I hope so too.
Also, Danny meets up with what's his face?
Is it Kusin or Chosen?
Chosen.
Yeah,
Chosen.
Yep. So they're gonna team reattack
up.
how to teach Miyagi-Do.
Yeah. So I think what did you think about the setup for season 5? Like, how do you feel about season 5 going forward? Like,
I'm nervous.
Why?
All right. Kind of like I'm worried about the issues that this season had becoming worse next season. Because you don't necessarily have the tournament as an overarching thing. You don't really. I'm not sure what's going to be ultimately like the target that everyone's shooting for, or I'm not sure what's going to anchor everyone.
There should still be a tournament. It's just that, remember, Miyagi-Do's not supposed to exist, right? So there was the gentleman's agreement.
Well, there won't be. I guess maybe if they flash forward a little bit in terms of time, because remember there was 2 seasons between the first tournament and this tournament.
Yeah, but the first tournament was done in a season.
Yeah, which is fair. I don't know. I'm curious because if the idea at the end of this next season isn't another tournament, I'm curious what's going to like, because I feel like a high school fight obviously isn't going to, I don't want to see that shit again. I'm like,
yeah, the second season ended with a fight, like a big fight. Yeah.
And same thing with the third season ending with the house fight.
House fight. Yep.
So like, I don't know. I'm curious to see how they ground everyone and like what they have everyone working towards, or like what the goal is. Because they're also, a lot of them are going to be hitting 18.
There's too many characters.
Yeah.
There's too many characters. They need to... There needs to be a... Honestly, if you were going to spin off a series, I don't know who you'd do it with, but if you're going to spin off a series, like, I think either now or the next season is the time, because there is a giant roster. That or get rid of half the characters.
And they're also getting ready, like...
Oh, the middle school
getting ready
thing.
To go to college too. Like next tournament's going to be the last one.
Right, that's the last one. Plus, they started the whole middle school storyline where they're coming into, those middle school kids are coming into high school. Miguel going to see his dad. That's in a whole different, possibly in a whole different country, right? Like, does he live in? Like he said, he lives in Mexico now, so like maybe he's in Mexico. So that's a thing. Like Cobra Kai's expanding and creating, like, Silver's back. Kreese is in jail, so he was arrested. We don't know if he's in jail yet. You got Tori won the tournament, so she's still going to be in the thing. Robbie finally reconnected with Johnny. You got frickin' the deal. You know what they didn't mention? The dealership at all. Like, they went to the dealership.
No, they did. They basically said it's doing the best it's ever been doing.
Yes. No, that's what I mean. Is like there was no like work really done in this season, like they had to in the first couple. So that's clearly been relegated to the background. So maybe they do that. Maybe they get rid of some of the storylines. Ah, you bastard. Maybe they get rid of some of the storylines, and by doing that, they can open up, more screen time for everybody else. I don't know. What would you give this season out of 10?
Because does Johnny go after Miguel now that he's reconnected with Robbie?
The thing is, like, I want to say I care, but because Miguel's storyline does nothing for me, I don't care. Like, I care about Miguel's character. Like, I like that character, but because of what they did in this season, like, I don't want to focus on it. I would rather have them focus. I don't know. What are they going to do with that?
What if Miguel is written off the show?
I'm okay with that.
Okay. Because, like, that's where I feel like they might have ended that season with I think they might be exploring the opportunity, either opportunity or like just moving on from it, of Miguel not being in the show anymore.
I'm okay with it. I mean, they didn't do a very good job.
Yeah.
But if they give him the treatment that some of the characters got in this season, where he comes back for a couple cameos or something, like I think that would be kind of stupid. Like, if next season they just flash to him doing a couple things, like that's the thing is like how are you supposed to fit all of this?
You either have to bring Miguel back early on, or the show moves on for Miguel, which is a shame because of how he really restarted the show.
Yeah. Yeah, like
so it kind of feels like doing his character a little dirty.
That's what I mean. They didn't give him a good send off. They could have done a lot better. But yeah, I don't know. I thought this one was probably like. I've been doing 0.5s for these, and I don't want to give this 10 out of 10 because it has problems. Probably 9.5 out of 10. I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like this season a lot. I do. And
let's be real. I'm being hypercritical about like minutia.
Oh yes, absolutely.
Because of how much I love this show.
Yeah, no. Let's be clear about that. Both of us for the past hour have been fucking nitpicking the most random little bullshit. Like I was mad that the dude during a board break that the guy lifted the board. Like it's stupid.
Yeah.
Right. Like we talked about like fight choreography. Like we're not talking like, and we talked about major storylines early, but generally speaking, I really like this. I still like this show. I'm still interested. I want to see a next season. I'm not done with it yet. Right. No, I'm not burnt out. I just watched all three seasons, and then I watched the fourth. I'm already ready for the next one. Like I want to watch the next season. Me too. All right. Any final thoughts?
I'm very interested to see what happens next season.
Me too.
All right, hold on. How many seasons do you think this show runs
I think
for?
they can do 6.
Okay.
I think they could do 6 seasons. And then maybe, like, I've been watching a lot of Community, so 6 seasons in a movie.
Community is also a great show.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
I think they could get 6 seasons. It really depends on where they go with the next season. Now, do you think that they could do a movie?
Oh, yeah, of course they could.
Okay. Do you want to see a Cobra Kai movie?
All right, my only issue would be screen time. You got to really hone in on what you want that movie to accomplish, because they got too many characters for a good movie right now. If they tried to do a movie with the entourage of characters that they have in this season, it would have flopped.
Oh, absolutely. No. I think they could do a movie if they focused on the tournament and the tournament only, the training, and they could have a couple ancillary characters, but really they honed in on Cobra Kai versus Miyagi-Do for the last time. Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, maybe after next season, like next season plays out and they set it up between Silver and Danny mainly.
All right.
And Miyagi-Do and Cobra Kai, and then they do it in the last season. And then they end. Maybe the movie is just the tournament.
All right. So I'm going to throw out my prediction for next season. You're going to see... I think you'll see a rejoining of Johnny and Kreese.
Ugh.
And
you're probably right. I don't want to see that.
And then, obviously, you're going to have the Chosen and Danny as the other faction, and then Silver, and hopefully not another character that Silver brings in, but
Well, that was such a good moment too when Amanda asked Danny. She goes, "Is there any other members of Cobra Kai from your past that are going to randomly show up and ruin our lives?" And he's like, "No." Probably not. I don't.
Silver is going to bring back. I think his name is Mike. He was essentially he was the dude that Danny fought in the tournament in Karate Kid 3. Like, if anything, he just brings that dude back as like a...
We're not going to get Hilary Swank?
As Cobra Kai? Would be mad at it.
Hilary Swank coming in. Yeah, that'd be funny. Yeah, I really like the show. I like the show still, man. As far as like...
No, we're going to get Jaden Smith. That's what's going to happen.
Dude, so that movie, here's the problem with that movie. I don't want to spend 30 minutes talking about it, but that movie had none of the heart.
No,
like, it was technically proficient, the karate or kung fu. It wasn't fucking karate, by the way. Like,
just weird.
That's the biggest bunch of bullshit. Like, it's called Karate Kid.
It was weird that Jackie Chan signed on for that. Was like, I was always confused by that. I was like, why is he just okay with this? Like,
look, and he did a good job.
Like, yeah, that's my problem.
And, like, Jaden Smith isn't a terrible actor. He's not a good actor by any
means.
He
was really young. Like,
Right. He was a kid actor doing kid actor stuff. And he wasn't above his pay grade. You know, I thought he did an okay job. It's just that movie had no heart.
No.
It just didn't have the same, like, momentum. And yeah, I was older when I saw it, but like, I watched the fucking Power Rangers movie now, and I liked it. Like, it wasn't, I would have liked it if it was half decent. Anyway, if you got anything else? I don't have anything else.
No, I think we covered it very well.
Yeah. All right, cool. If you made it this far, awesome.
Whew.
Did you like listening? Like, what do you think about Cobra Kai? Did you like season 4?
What do you think about our full breakdown of the entire season, which is almost as long as the entire season?
No, 2 episodes.
Okay, we broke down the entire season
10
in
episodes.
No particular order, completely jumping back and forth.
That's how that works. Like,
I know.
Systematically breaking down episode by episode like we did the first time. It's fine when you, like, are going back and, like, to be honest, when you watch it for a second time, that's probably how it goes. But when you just watched it one time and it's fresh in your mind and you just talk about everything on your head. So I appreciate y'all for listening. I really do. I hope you guys like Cobra Kai because it's an awesome show. If you don't, I totally understand. But how the hell did you make it through this entire video to see this part? Woo! You're crazy. Also,
you must just really like Brendan's face.
Yes, I don't like my face. So I appreciate you making it through. I still don't know. Like, I don't know why you listened to it. Why did you click on the thing about season 4 if you don't like Cobra Kai? Do you think that there should be a season 5? Did you like season 4? Was it a letdown for you? Did you like? What was your favorite part of the season, and what didn't you like about the season? Please comment down below. I would love to talk to you about it. I love this freaking show, and I would love to talk about it some more. Anything else?
I would love to hear theories on what you think will be the thing next season. If it's not,
put your predictions down below, please.
If you think it's going to be the tournament next season, if they're just going to do another one season, one tournament,
or do you think Netflix cuts it because they don't like doing 3 seasons of any show?
Ooh.
I'm just kidding. They broke that curse. A lot of shows have made it past 2 seasons.
Yeah. Do you agree with the prediction? It's going to be 6 seasons. Do you think it could be more than 6?
Oh, please no.
Please don't.
No, it'll be so bad if it's more than 6.
Yeah.
But yeah, I appreciate y'all, you guys. I really do. Please like and subscribe if you made it all the way through. Like, there's no way you shouldn't be subscribing to the channel, because if you can make it through this, you can make it through anything. So
yeah, Charlie.
I appreciate all y'all guys. Love y'all.